Hey YouTube, my name's Lucky, and today I'm bringing you a video where I'm going to talk about this SMG, the Calus mini tool. Now, this thing is, with the right roll, essentially a baby Recluse, or maybe even the big brother to Recluse, depending upon how you look at it. This can be acquired from the Menagerie, of course. As most of you know, you can go in, you can farm any weapon you want, and you can get lots and lots of drops. As you can see here, I have 9 of them, and I did some research on what perks it can get, what rolls it can get, and I noticed that it can get surrounded, and I was like really excited about that because I know from previous tests that surrounded plus surrounded spec is extremely powerful. So I thought to myself, hey, if I did get surrounded and surrounded spec on this, would it be comparable to the Recluse, which has, of course, the pinnacle perk Master of Arms? And so I went and I did some testing. I'm down here on Titan, shooting old Greg in the face, and I'll show you the numbers here. I'll start off with the Recluse. Shoot him in the face, it does 185 rather. And if I go kill an ad, I get Master of Arms proc, and I'm doing, with maximum damage, I'm doing 279. I'm doing 279. So I went from 185 to 279, which is about a 50% increase. I wrote it down here on this paper. And then if I switch over to my surrounded spec Calus mini tool, which, by the way, you have to go get a surrounded spec, which you'll have to get from Ada, which is a completely random drop. So hopefully you have one lying around. If you don't, you'll have to start farming from Ada. So I got a surrounded roll and a surrounded spec on it. I'll push forward. I have surrounded procced already. And I shoot him, and it does 299 damage. So it actually does 20% or 20 more damage, which is a total of 10% increase. They're both 900 RPM SMGs, as I'll show you here. It's a 900 RPM SMG, 900 RPM SMG, and so they're very comparable. Like, you can definitely compare these two to each other. They have very similar attributes, and the really cool part about this is that if you don't want to go into comp, if don't have fun in comp at all, if you just get completely destroyed, you don't have to go into comp. You could actually go get this Calus mini tool, and technically speaking, it's a little more situational because you need multiple ads or enemies to be near you. But if you can proc, if the situation calls for the proc, it can actually be more powerful than the Recluse. It can just constantly have surrounded. Surrounded never goes away. As long as you're around multiple enemies, you're just going to have surrounded on. Like, I have surrounded on now, and I'm going to continuously have surrounded on. If I wanted to kill this ogre, it would have surrounded on the entire time. And so it can actually be beneficial in some ways, depending upon what the situation calls for. So, there you have it. If you're having a tough time getting your Recluse, you have an alternative option, the Calus mini tool. Now I'll go over to light.gg real quick, and I'll show you some of the perfect god rolls you could get. Of course, just as a base roll, get surrounded and add the surrounded spec, and that's pretty much good enough. Like, that is going to be comparable to the Recluse, in my opinion. But if you wanted to go the extra mile, because you might as well if you really want this weapon to be super powerful, you could get some really cool perks on it as well. You could get Threat Detector on it, which increase reload stability and handling when enemies are in close proximity. That's obviously perfect with Surrounded because you're going to have both Threat Detector and Surrounded procced at all times, so you're going to have crazy good reload. This is going to be a really good combination between these two. Of course, any sort of reload perks here, so that way you can reload fast, would be really good, and a reload masterwork perhaps. So if you could get that combination, that would be a true god roll. I don't have that one yet. I don't have Surrounded Threat Detector, but I'm fine with the one I have for now. I'll continue to farm for this SMG in the future, and I'm just happy to try this thing out. I want to use this more in different raid encounters. I want to see what this thing is capable of. If you have one, let me know, and let me know where you're using it and what you think of it. And if you are having a ton of trouble getting the Recluse, make sure you come by the stream because we literally carry people in comp like every day. We help tons and tons of people, so if you want some help, you can definitely get that. The other thing to keep in mind is that this Recluse has minor spec on it, so it does get a little bit of buff to damage because of that. And this would actually have surrounded spec, so it kind of depends on what targets you're shooting at. If you're shooting at smaller targets, this would get a little bit more of a buff because of minor spec. But those are little details. And overall, this is basically what I wanted to cover, was just that surrounded plus surrounded spec makes a Calus mini tool a baby Recluse, or maybe even a better Recluse. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash the like button, make sure to subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.